So the question that what burns when we say there is a burnout, the straight answer, what burns is the link between our surface self and our deep I. That link gets burned or is cut off. That's when there is a serious burnout issues and physical and emotional manifestation is seen in the person. Now, if I look at our daily routine, we go out and then we come back and in the night we have to sleep. Do we really need to sleep every night? Yes. If we don't sleep, uh, we cannot function next day in a very productive and effective way. How badly the sleep is needed, you can imagine that if we are in a situation of life and death, and it's a situation where if we don't sleep or if we don't stay awake, we are going to die. And 48 hours, 50 hours pass on. There, there will come a time when everything else will not matter, even the death will not matter. And I will decide that either I will automatically fall asleep or I will decide that, okay, now I'm going to sleep now, whatever happens. So it's that badly needed because when we go in the sleep, our mind is shut off and we get recharged. And it's very much necessary. I mean, there are other things to prove that, and I'm not going into those detail, but basically is the going back to the source is what I can simply put it, is needed to function effectively, creatively. Because when we say a deep I or our true self or whatever, is the source of energy for all the creativity and original thinking and effectiveness and so on. So if we are constantly in the mind and we are worried, this our sense of self is involved in the activities with what we do, like the possessions and our positions and our business and jobs and so on, relationships. So our sense of self is goes from the deep I into the surface I, which is a mind-made self. Then this link gets cut, and a person is all the time involved in activities, and the mind is constantly thinking, creating new scenarios. See, the mind always in a fear mode because the self that is created by the mind needs everything perfect, right? We need to have good health, we need to have finances uh, in shape, we need to have relationships, we need to have business, job, everything has to be perfect. Then only this mind-made self will be safe. And we all know, like, this doesn't happen, something all the time keeps going wrong. So mind is all the time trying to protect us, protect our mind-made self from the dangers. So it always creates scenarios, and makes us think that we are doing a very responsible and intelligent work of protecting ourselves, protecting our business, finance, our relationships, and so on. And it keeps us busy. So if we completely have our link burnt out in this process, then you can imagine that there is no rejuvenation, there is no recharge, there is no creative thinking, there is no effectiveness coming in, and we can't function creatively and effectively. So then these things result in the symptoms of burnout. If if we look at the ways and means of reducing the burnout, these are like when someone is trying to lose the weight, they say there is nothing called spot reduction, right? So, like, you for some time you withdraw from hectic work and follow a hobby and things like that. It works. It definitely helps to reduce the level of stress, reduce the burnout, and helps one remain in a much better functional way. But in conscious business, there are ways and means where we can be involved in the work at the same time remain connected to the deeper I. And this deep I is like then reflected in the work in terms of our values, in terms of the way we interact with people, avoid unconscious relationships and conversations and so on. There are ways which starts from having meaning and purpose, and uh, these are maybe like only for very senior executives it might be necessary to go in that direction, but for a large number of people who just feel the uh, heat of this burnout, conscious business tools and techniques do help to reduce that burnout. Like if you can imagine, if I'm helping a flood victim, of course I'm working very hard, but I don't think like I may be physically tired, but I won't complain that I have some mental health issues and so on, because there is connectedness to the meaning and purpose of what I'm doing. I'm happy that I'm helping someone, right? And so I don't feel that mental strain or anything that really is not good for the for maintaining my health and well-being. So same way, if we are working for a purpose or a meaning, then these are like the basics of conscious business. Then one can work harder, or we can involve a lot, but we will not have this feeling of helplessness, or we will be actually more happy and what I can say, like more willing to do and help, because now we see like there is a meaning in what we are doing. There is a purpose. I mean, if Viktor Frankl can have uh, meaning in a concentration camp, uh, for everyone it's possible. So that's, I would say, what burns out in a burnout is then the link to our deeper self. Instead of having our sense of self involved in the mind-made self, which is uh, about our social, financial, and other reputation, standing, business, and so on. Uh, we need to get involved in those activities, but not to have full sense of self involved in that, and have connectedness to our deep I, where our values, purpose, meaning also reside. And so, if this link uh, somehow is lost, that is what I see in many cases that I have seen is the reason for the burnout. So what burns is this link between deep I and the surface I. So and on